Free Cup Studio Live 2021 GSL SuperTournament Season 1.
Welcome back, everybody. We just wrapped up our first best of 5. Trap with a very commanding performance, crushes Dark. Really interesting late game there. Again, Dark the master of hanging on. Usually that's when he actually manages to come back. But this time around, he dragged the game to the bitter end, but Trap had the upper hand tech-wise and was able to close it out.
Yeah. Very dominating from Trap, in my opinion. Like, Dark did a good job, but Trap just looks better. Going up to our next match, INnoVation, going to be playing against Solar. What are you thinking about this one? I actually am like, I think that this is a really good match right now. I think Solar's in very good shape. He has been playing absolutely everything.
Right.
So I think he's really motivated right now. And I mean, yeah, I don't know which way I want to call it, but I think it's like a really good close one.
I think it's going to be close. I do lean a little bit more towards INnoVation. He just always looks strong, is always consistent. So I think it's going to be good, but I think it'll probably be a 3-1, 3-2.
Okay.
For Inno.
Let's take a look at our maps. Death Aura, Oxide, Light Shade, Pillars of Gold, Romanticide. Okay. Cool. Let's do it, Tasteless.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
Okay. Let me just hit the go button here.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun ZVT. We're going to see how Solar performs. Solar, always one of the best Zergs out there, but INnoVation is just, I would put his RPG stats all a little bit higher.
Yeah,
it's like he's been in the game longer. It's like, well, you're in the third CD now. You've been leveling up more. You've been fighting more. He just looks a little bit stronger, but I think Solar could take it. Solar seems to be really in a good spot with his play. He's very active. Some pros are much more active, or I should say less active than others in the offseason as well. We've got this tiny tournament out here before, and this is true, by the way, for pretty much all these sports. There's a little bit of downtime somewhere in the year in Korea, usually at minimum about 2 months off. Casters don't have work, the pro gamers aren't playing. Solar's been very active. INnoVation, always good, but let's see how these two do when we make them fight in StarCraft 2.
KaiZ Gaming, INnoVation. KaiZ Gaming, Solar.
Cool.
Coolio.
Did you happen to see the new translation of Flash talking about basically this tier of pros? These guys from the end of Brood War?
I have it marked on my to-watch list on YouTube, but I have not actually sat down and watched it yet. Tell me.
Really cool translation. Shout out to Jinjin.
Yeah.
Jinjin 5000 on YouTube.
Yeah, that's a very valuable StarCraft YouTube channel.
Yeah, he does a lot of translations of mostly the Brood War scene, but the thing is there's so much, there's a lot in there that's overlapped, because these guys all used to be Brood War players. But basically, Flash, the greatest, said that out of everyone, the person who caught his eyes the most at the end of Brood War was INnoVation.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like a really cool thing, because INnoVation came over and was like, I mean, he's basically like got the longest reign of being a top player.
He was extremely dominant right at the start, when a lot of the other guys that were dominant very early on completely burned out.
Yeah, he came over with the Kespa switch.
Right.
And right at the beginning of the Kespa switch, there was a lot of talk about Sulky and Rain. And obviously they both went on to do ridiculous things, then went back to Brood War and did ridiculous things.
Right.
But INnoVation as well. And like, INnoVation got up to GSL Championship caliber right away. And in fact, yeah, right, the GSL he lost was to Sulky. But yeah, and he's still at that level, right? Where it's like you almost expect him in a GSL finals each year, even though he's not doing quite that well anymore, because there are other players that are really strong. But yeah, I just thought that was a kind of a cool thing to hear, right? That Flash looked to him as like maybe one of the next big guys.
Well, it really says something too. I mean, Flash is the best RTS player of all time. Even in StarCraft 2, he was extremely strong when he was playing.
Yeah.
But he really has dominated in RTS in a way that nobody actually has gotten close to.
Yeah.
Which is saying a lot because we've had a lot of insanely strong players throughout the history of the game. But yeah, it makes sense because he's always been good. INnoVation is not a player that you have to think of a certain time period to know about. You know, not everybody followed StarCraft since the beginning. I mean, people like you and I were participants and also fans of the game. The whole franchise, I should say, for 23 years, right?
Yeah.
It's a very long period of time. But we've seen players in different eras dominate and then go away or come in late. But if you followed StarCraft 2 from the beginning or just now, you know who INnoVation is.
Yeah, it's like his StarCraft 2 pro career has been like 9-ish years? 8 years to 9 years.
Yeah, I think 9 years now.
Yeah, it might be.
Because we had 2 years before Keswick came on, right? We're in the 11th year of StarCraft.
Yeah, it was like end of 2011, I want to say, is when they started.
My memory's like a little bit foggy in that time because there was like so much going on and it was so crazy because we just started GSL, but I think that's right.
Something like that. Anyways, for this opener, INnoVation did go fast triple command, which is something that, of course, he's always fallen back on quite a bit. Hellions with fast 3 CCs, so he can really get his macro going. Pretty standard play here out of Solar. Nothing out of the ordinary as of yet. Looks like a Viking going to come out to hunt down some Overlords, push them back.
And nothing extraordinary so far here. We're going to see, again, INnoVation, some of the best pushes in all of StarCraft. Tends to not be very fancy in his play style, in that like he's not usually pulling out a whole bunch of insane, no pun intended, innovative builds. He tends to be... He leans heavily into the mechanical side of StarCraft 2, which is a perfectly good way to play the game, where you know the sequence of builds, you know when to push, and you're just going to control it right, and you're going to be bigger, faster, stronger than your opponent, and win that way.
Yeah, that is his strength, right? It's just nailing those mechanics.
Right.
Mechanically, probably the best Terran overall.
Yeah, I'd say at least the most mechanical Terran.
Yeah.
I think TY's mechanics occasionally have rivaled his, but I think TY has more flair in general.
In my opinion, Maru's
the
closest.
Actually, yeah, Maru is a perfectly good person to point out as well.
I think TY and ByuN are a step below, in my opinion, for mechanical play. Yeah, okay, so we have the fast carapace upgrade here for Solar, making quite a few lings right now. Double eBay coming up over on INnoVation's side. Layer is not very far along. We'll see where he goes with that. Like, does he want to get into Hydras? I don't really like that as much anymore, but it could be the case. Does he want to get into Mutalisks? Definitely prefer that a bit. We'll see what Solar's up to. A lot of people have been liking Lurkers in the matchup as well.
Okay, Hellions coming across the map now. Stim almost done. I don't think this is going to do that much, but let's see. Even picking off a Baneling would be handy in a moment like this.
Just a little bit of kiting going on. Seeing what he can do. Nothing too scary on either side.
Right, just cleaning up some creep here and there. Anything you could take, you'll get at this point in time in the game. We've got more Lings coming out here as the Spire starts up. And, I mean, he's not going to kill this hatchery, but if there's a scan available and he could kill creep, he would do so.
All right, Spire coming up as well as Baneling Speed, so we see exactly what type of game Solar is going for. Of course, this is something that INnoVation is very, very strong against. And with his Banshee flying around, he can kind of tell what's going on. Gets that armory at just like a perfect time here, and we'll see if he switches into mines or he wants to stay on the tanks.
Yeah, here come the two medevacs out on the map. Now, he hasn't picked anything up with this. But it looks like what he probably wants to do is try to hit over here, draw some attention, and then send these Hellions down here to the south to meet up with this push. A little bit of mismanagement there. He did not need to lose that Banshee, but a lot of times in attacks like this, especially in TVZ, the idea is you hit 3 different screen locations at once and hope they can't quite juggle the task. An instant pickup here is there's just way too many Lings to actually deal with. 1-1 about to finish combat shields as well, so this whole attack is going to time out basically perfectly especially since that tank wasn't surrounded and killed off.
Yeah, he can make Hellbats right now as well. He does have that armory done.
Right.
So let's see if he wants to switch that up a little bit. He brought the Hellions over.
I like the Viking on the high ground. He probably wanted to try to draw some Lings away. Unfortunately, the Queen does target it down.
And look at this. There is a big flank coming in, but he has morphed them into Hellbats.
Right.
And healed them up quite a bit with the Medivacs.
Oh, and look at the surround on that tank. Like, you basically can't even touch that tank. I guess you can now that they moved away, but you get the idea.
Yeah. All right, Baneling's rolling in as well. So Solar is going to clear this. But I feel like INnoVation did a good job there overall. Like, his Hellions, he retained them throughout the game and then made them at least worthwhile there at the end. Now, 13 mutas are coming out for Solar. Definitely has to hold this 4th base. So important.
And the key to holding that will be the symbiosis of the mutas and the Banelings. Of course, you need a lot of other Lings in there as well, but if it's mismanaged, things can become a catastrophe pretty quickly here. I only see 1 siege tank with this push, though, so that's not a lot of splash damage to work with, especially if it targets a Ling instead of a Bane early on. He's going to try to set up a flank. Am I wrong? Is it just 1 tank there? No, there's 2. There's 2. Okay, I was going to say.
Okay, going to target that tank with the mutas as he rolls in. Good targeting on the Banelings there by INnoVation, but as the 2nd tank falls, he cannot fight here. Oh, man. Okay. Solar doing a great job.
Solar's going to completely crush him here. The surround there and the presence of the mutas means that the Medivacs couldn't get away here. He can actually keep pushing this if he wants.
Oh, yeah, there's 1 siege tank there, though, with some great targeting on the Banes. That was a good cleanup, though, by Solar. And the fact that he holds his 4th, and it's like he holds his 4th with a period. There's not another attack coming for it right now. The window to kill that 4th base is gone.
Yeah, I think INnoVation actually did a pretty poor job with that push. It did seem like even before the push got there, Zerg was never going to lose to that. The 1 tank setup over there. You need enough splash damage that you can target fire the Banes so that the Banes can't connect with the Marines. Because if basically the way that the fight is lost for the Terran is when a few Banelings connect exactly on top of the Marines. As crazy and chaotic as the fights look, if you just watch for that, you can basically see who's ahead.
Okay, yeah.
If Banelings don't connect with any target, Terran should win that fight as long as you're both macroing properly.
Well, INnoVation's not down and out yet. He does have his 4th base up. 2-2 just finished. He's going to start that 3-3 right away. Thor, Widowmine, going to be the order of the day off of those factories. And he's almost maxed. So I don't think you're going to get a much better push timing than moving out pretty quickly here. Now, the muta's coming in and actually being so annoying.
This is great because already 2 reactors have been picked off. That's huge. They're going to be remade here. I think that Solar did what he could with that. It's great to kill a reactor. It takes a little bit longer than other things in the game to remake, which is going to limit, of course, the number of Marines that are reinforcing. But this push is out on the map. An expansion is denied. I think it's negligible, though. Zerg still has plenty over here at the top center. The question, again, is going to be the same place we saw a fight take place earlier. How much damage can Terran do over here?
Ooh, the Banelings actually get really good connections right there. INnoVation pushing forward very quickly, though. He might just want to try to target down that hatchery before it can be saved, but a counterattack coming in right now from Solar.
Yeah, a lot of mutas, Lings, and Banes coming forward here. If these Banes can connect on top of some SCVs, that would be huge. Oh my god, the hatchery lives.
Yeah, that is pretty painful right there. He took a lot of counter damage because he did have all those units out across the map. Oh,
damn.
12 SCVs fall.
A dozen SCVs out of the picture now, and that number's going up as this attack continues on here. But as much damage as the counterattack did... Oh, those were tech labs. Okay. I was saying reactors. As much damage as that did, I do want to point out, Terran has come back, regrouped, has an army again.
Yeah.
And is going to try to push.
Well, this 3-3 is over halfway done.
Yep.
Wouldn't mind him trying to wait for that. But I do love how Solar's playing this. The fact that he's getting the Ultras cabin right now, he has Adrenaline 3-3 on the way. I think this is some fantastic play for him. Like, if he just continues to deny INnoVation from killing him and doing these counterattacks.
Okay, a push coming out here. And there's actually a small Zerg army here in the bottom left, right there, that could be used to try to counterattack this location. Terran's been on 4 bases for most of this game, but the 5th base coming down here, Terran becomes more vulnerable the more they expand. Again, this attack here, it's going to finish off the hatchery, finally.
Yeah, it took a long, long time to get that one. The muta's still flying around, being a nuisance.
Yeah, remaining a threat here.
Oh, he actually didn't get Drilling Claws yet.
Oh, that's weird.
That's kind of interesting.
They'll probably get that soon, though, I think.
You know what?
That's something you're going to notice as the game goes.
He has 2 factories, one with the tech lab because he's been making Thors. So.
Yeah. Well, he's going to see it eventually.
Yeah, he's going to.
It's not an upgrade you can go without noticing, really. So.
Really, yeah.
The push continues to come up here.
Let's see what INnoVation can do. He has a good group of Marauders here to kind of tank in the front. A lot of medevacs still alive, 3 Thors, so those Mutalisks going to have a hard time actually engaging. INnoVation is playing a little bit like a Brute Tasteless.
Yeah.
This is not the INnoVation that normally would be at my tea party, you know?
Yeah, this is a bit of a brutish Terran here. This attack, by the way, is going to need to work here for INnoVation. He's taking quite a beating back at home. I feel like we're watching Banes exclusively explode on Marauders here. The Marines are what they want to be targeting.
Yeah, that's what you want as INnoVation, but too many Banes left over. Great splitting right there from Solar to catch all the Marines. Not a lot left over for INnoVation, but he saves the medevacs, which is really important. A lot of Ultras being created now.
Okay, so where's INnoVation at now? I feel like Solar's been able to thrive on the map. INnoVation, you know, his production's pretty immense, but it does seem like Solar slammed him down enough times. The tech is still a bit reset. I think there can be counterplay now for the Zerg, where the Zerg can start trying to attack over here.
Ooh.
Beat me to it right now. That's a lot of mules to lose.
Dude, that is a huge amount of minerals.
That's a crazy hiccup to the income now.
Ouch. Ouch. Oh, no. Don't lose that.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, my.
Oh, INnoVation, that's not good. Oh, okay, well, Solar really bringing it now.
Yeah.
Still no drilling claws, and I think right now he's noticing he definitely doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Tries to burrow there and get that damage done. I mean, he's going to lose that planetary.
Solar's going to win this game.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's a point where eventually the Zerg is just going to be able to run you over. Solar backing up just to be safe here, but I will stand by what I said a second ago. I think, yeah, you can make a little bit more and probably slam this next base. You just don't want to overextend as a Zerg.
Yeah, he got the planetary during that. It was already pretty darn low. But the fact that Solar pulls back right now, I think that's some great decision making.
Yeah.
Just, like, continue to add Banelings to your army, continue to build some Ultras. His army is just so scary to deal with. INnoVation, I think he needs to max. I'm sad he doesn't have drilling claws. It feels like it's taking like 3 hours for these mines to grow.
Yeah.
All right, gets a decent mine hit right there.
Well, the core of the Marines actually survived this. This was the first, I think, really bungled attack. Even that Ultra not even attacking.
That was like, yeah.
That Ultra was trying to like push through the crowd, like, excuse me.
Yeah, trying to get to the front.
So as INnoVation lashes back out on the map, maybe he has a chance. I really felt like Solar had this game, but again, you got to make sure your Banelings connect onto the Marines. There's hitting Marauders, or they were for a second ago.
Some good spreading here. He needs to clear this creep still, though. Oh, doesn't get that mine connection. Love the Liberator being added in. Very little anti-air left over. It looks like he's going to come for a flank. The Muta's going to target down the Liberator as quickly as they can.
Yep. Bane's coming through now as these Marines are going to be splitting off. It does seem like maybe Zerg just barely has enough. I'm not totally clear. There's more Marauders.
Maybe Terran just barely has enough.
Yeah, it's actually a very hard fight to call.
No, Zerg just barely has enough. No,
Terran just barely has enough.
Terran just barely has enough?
Hold on, though.
One way or the other, it's barely.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
Oh, wait, no, this
maybe
is
Zerg just barely has enough. These Mutas are not even attacking the army. GG.
All right. Okay, kind of an interesting game. I think Solar played very well, very cleanly. The way INnoVation played a lot of those battles, though, like I said, brutish. It was kind of like there wasn't as much micro as I feel like I'm used to seeing.
I'm used to seeing INnoVation as more of a fencer and less of a barbarian, okay?
I feel like he's a barbarian fencer.
Oh, so he like fences with his club?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
And here I felt like he was just, instead of that, he was just 2 barbarians. And I'm like, well, I mean, we're just standing there. We're just believing that the Banelings are going to die before they hit your army.
He was a fencer, ogre barbarian with 2 heads.
Yeah. Well, Solar chopped one of them off. Let's see if one hit is better than two.
Yeah, does you die with that? Is that it? It seems like you lose a lot of blood that way.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, or it makes that other head smarter. It's like all the blood's going to my brain now.
Oh yeah. And I mean, with just the neck hole open, you're going to be able to breathe like really quickly. Like there's so much oxygen into your body.
We're going to go to Oxide, by the way, for Game 2. INnoVation versus Solar continues on. Solar with a 1-0 lead.
Game starts.
Brr.
KaiZ Gaming, INnoVation. KaiZ Gaming, Solar.
Doesn't it feel like everyone's on KaiZ Gaming?
It does.
At least in this match.
Mm-hmm. Stop your teammates.
Whew. So.
All right,
Solar
Artosis.
Real good, man. What?
No,
What's
nothing. That's the sound. Those are the caster sounds I make when I'm going to try to think of something to say before there's stuff to actually say in this game. I do wonder if INnoVation's going to play like he did in the previous game. He did look a little bit, I don't know if rusty's the right word, but it just, we were seeing him take a lot of fights where it seemed a bit questionable. Solar's defense was really on point. Solar also wavered a couple times. There are definitely points in time where the Banelings weren't in the right spot at the right time, but I guess that's really what TVZ is.
Some of the engagements, I felt like the micro of INnoVation was like the pre-ByuN era micro type of thing.
Okay.
Remember ByuN came in and like the splits became so good at that point. And it took a little bit, but INnoVation definitely caught up and had that ridiculous micro.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, I don't know, it felt a little bit, just slightly off from what I expect from INnoVation. I want a 10 out of 10, and I feel like that was an 8 out of 10 for the micro.
Yeah, well, usually I'm just used to INnoVation's micro looking almost AI-like.
Yeah.
You know, like he's not going to miss anything, and he splits pretty much perfectly, and you really need to be, you know, a perfect as Zerg if you're going to even be able to hang on against him, and sometimes that doesn't even matter. But, you know, we were mentioning before in the series that Solar's been quite active. He's looking very strong. Players all treat these off-seasons differently.
Yeah, that's very true, and Solar has been super duper active. I mean, we have had some other, we had some big tournaments, and INnoVation's played some and everything.
Right.
You know, Last Chance and all that. You know, we had TSL in December.
Yeah.
You know, there's definitely things going on, but maybe not, I guess, the same caliber as the GSL stuff that, you know, everyone kind of gets ready for.
Right, right. Well, I was meaning major studio stuff out here. I mean, there's actually always StarCraft stuff going on.
Can't
game is so active, yeah. Always something to compete in, something to fight for.
For glory and money.
What was I saying? What was this joke that we were telling each other that we never said on cast? Was it? Are you going to the? Oh, that's right. It's. Are you going to the e-game? Oh wait, no, what was it? Are you going to the Gamer Festival? As a question. And you go, you mean the place where e-gamers battle for prize money and glory? Yes. That one. He goes, I am going.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So I like changing the dumb word we already have for something with another dumb word.
Yeah,
like instead of calling it an esports event, we call it a gamer festival.
Yeah, gamer festival.
Yeah, the gamer festival.
Yeah. Just the word gamer is so funny.
Yeah.
Gamer. One who plays games.
Yeah, so what, you like play games? What a category.
I know. It's pretty broad.
Yeah.
It's pretty broad.
Some people say I'm a foodie. I'm like, so you eat food in nice places.
Oh, so you're pretentious about food?
Yeah,
okay,
you're
cool.
pretentious. Go. So you got an Instagram account with food on it. That's cool.
Yeah.
You don't got a lot going on. No, gamer is a funny word now. Especially now that people are marketing it.
Oh, everything's
like,
for gamers.
This is for gamers now.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's me. They think I don't have an identity. They were wrong. But even that word we can do better. We can call it video gamers.
Video gamers,
Computer gamers.
I don't want to be mixed up with those board gamers.
Yeah, yeah. It's like not just any gamer. I'm not gambling at a casino, okay?
I'm not playing sports ball.
I'm not playing sports ball. I'm using spells in my game. There's not even any spells in blackjack. Yeah. So, we've got another armory coming down this game. We have Banshees with Cloak. This is another early game type of play here from Terran. There's a lot of ways to play the early game with ideas on how to harass or poke or do certain strategies.
So you think a little Hellbat Banshee push?
I think so, yeah.
Target the queens maybe with the Banshees.
Sure.
While they try to kite Hellbats that walk very slowly towards them.
Try to battle for glory while winning the prize money is what I...
Try to battle for glory
while winning the prize money is what I'm here to do, man.
No, totally.
Yeah.
I would like to watch gamers do that.
Yeah.
Video gamers specifically.
Yeah, exactly. Not Monopoly gamers.
No.
Not even Monopoly on computer.
Oh, look at this. The Spore actually ends up picking off one of the Banshees. Bane's coming out. Yeah, it looks like a pretty clean hold, right?
Seems like it. It seems like the army's a bit disjointed here. The Hellbats are beginning to thin out. Can you get any kills on these?
Oh, the Lings chasing them really helped out here. If that hadn't occurred,
well,
things could have gone very wrong.
Yeah. So much for your prize money and glory that time.
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah.
Right?
Fake gamer. That's another one. Is fake gamer. That's another good one.
Fake gamer. You don't even game.
You don't even game. So that attack was, by the way, I feel like this has been happening a lot in the last few years. The Hellbat attack didn't work.
Last few years, Stasis. Yeah, long.
This is our entire career of casting StarCraft 2.
Almost. Since, they got nerfed at some point, right?
Yeah.
And like,
there was a time there where people would do Hellbat drops inside the main, morph the Hellbats outside of vision, somehow manage to walk over to the drones that are faster and kill them all.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Well, Hellbat attacks, like, I almost feel like Hellbat, like early Hellbat attacks against Zerg, I feel like that is literally, if a Zerg sees that, they should smile to themselves. You're like, oh,
yeah. So
we both realize that I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Because Hellbat attacks at, like, really high level don't work.
No. It's the Nigerian Prince scam
they
of
work
strategies.
Sometimes. Didn't you see this thing in the
what
round
about the
of
game
16
and the time and the place and the thing happened? Doesn't mean it was that
Hellbat
good.
attacks don't work against Zerg.
No,
it's like at the pro level, they don't work. Their percentage of working is so damn low. It reminds me a lot of that period we had where the one patch Ling Bane attack in ZVZ. Remember, everyone was doing it.
Oh,
Its win percentage was 0% for like a year in GSL.
Yeah.
And people kept doing it. And people were arguing, oh, Artosis, it works. It does. It's really strong. No, it's not. If it never works, it's not good.
Like this strategy. We see this so often. And
God,
it just doesn't seem to be that effective. And again, you're giving up a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they both actually burrowed.
Your map control goes away. Ooh,
easy
good
INnoVation.
But you give away all your Hellions.
Angry.
Look at the creep spread right now. Look how far out the creep spread is.
It's
Part of that has to do with Hellbat Banshee not doing anything.
Yeah. Seriously, though, we see that happen so often, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like they've seen the fighter jet, and they're like, I'm making Zeppelins. And I'm like, well, this can't. I mean, you see in the Hindenburg what happened, right?
Yeah,
like,
I'm gonna
surely
sneak up on him with Zeppelins.
Yeah. He's like, no, I'm a Zeppelin gamer.
What if they
it's
look
like,
up?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
What if they attack your flammable airship? It's like, well.
What if they made a lot of queens because that's a good move defensively, offensively, and macro-wise?
Yeah. The unit you can always get.
Yeah. And then they just simply micro them.
Doesn't come from an egg. Oh, get wrecked.
Well, 2 of them burrow.
And now that will kill all the drones there.
Maybe.
Yeah, it might actually happen.
It was a good target.
I say it jokingly, but when it comes back and actually does it, I want to be smiling.
That'll be your glory, Tasis.
That'll be my prize money and glory.
Your prize money is
I think we should get some of the prize money. We come up there, they're like, well, prize money's 10K, but give Tasis a cheeky grand here, you know?
All right, Bane Hydra rolling in here. Some good micro right there from INnoVation.
This is a lot of SCVs on the left side of our screen dying here.
It is indeed.
And they're going to get out.
Still has 63. Not too bad. Hydra Baneling still trying to push forward a little bit.
This creep is right outside the entrance of this base. Ooh, did he actually see that? I guess there aren't any tumors there to see that. I was going to say, if you see them pick up and leave, you dive right back into that expansion.
Yeah, make them unload. Well, attacking through that grass and everything, off creep. We'll see if that works out for him.
Again, we're seeing a scan over here. There's going to be a drop. It looks like he was going to go to the main, but he sees this. He says easy pickets.
Yeah.
Comes in here. The hatch is going to finish. I think there's actually going to be enough lings he has to pick up. They'll try to go into the main again here. Now, this is all engineered to try to buy time. Terran's trying to stabilize. I actually think there's a push in the center left.
Yeah, there is. I think he's just removing creep with it right now. Definitely enough units are going to come up to force it back.
The floor is lava. Do not touch the lava.
Oh my god. Did you see that game show?
Yeah, I did.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
It's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
The thing is, I want to first say that Artosis and I actually have a great appreciation for garbage TV because we've been in hotel rooms together. They're like, all right, let's watch TV, and we just talk shit on whatever we're watching.
Yeah.
But no, the floor of lava is not good enough to be. I really like the real garbage, like reality TV. Just awful people fighting. I used to think I was above it, and I'm
some
like,
of those
no, I'm all about this
some of those
now.
are so so bad you can't turn it off.
Oh yeah,
Jersey Shore, man.
Jersey Shore. Artosis is on a stream and he's like talking about, you seen that reality show with all the Protoss players? You know, Jersey Shore.
You knew what I was talking about.
I was the first in your chat to say it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Suddenly there's a million tanks.
That is a lot of
what
tanks.
What happened? Did Michael Bay take over this game? Where did all those tanks come from?
That is a lot of tanks.
All right. He's going to have to make a lot of Banes. By the way, if Terran gets smashed in this push, that's going to be a big reset button on a lot of this tech. Don't get near it.
Oof.
Don't look at it. It's like the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah,
he just closes his eyes and loses the game. It's like, thanks, Tasteless.
You need Vipers for that.
Yeah. Oh, he's got to get these Banelings to safety.
He's got to get the Banelings to safety. Well, I guess the tanks are coming up.
Yeah.
The Banelings don't have to run from those Marines, though, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Viper's coming out now, but he has spread the tanks a little bit more. Blinding Cloud going down. Oh, that is a lot of Banes rolling forward.
Yeah, the Marine count's getting low. The Lings can take out the tanks. Tanks for screens and screens. How many screens of tanks do we got? 3? 4?
Quite a few. Quite a few. All right, well, he does push him back, but he lost the base.
Looks like Terran's going to try to take a fight somewhere. Goes to show you how many Banelings were using that fight now that Zerg is way below supply of Terran.
Well, he is getting into lurkers now and increase that Viper count. Luckily for him, he's got so much creep. It takes a while to actually get up and attack anywhere. So that's going to buy him enough time to actually rebuild a different type of army. I tell you, creep spread does a lot for you. It gives you vision, it increases your speed, and it slows people down.
Yeah.
You think about how it speeds up Zerg units, but a lot of people don't realize it slows down other units.
My god.
Yeah.
Is INnoVation going to win this game, by the way? The math seems to be on his side.
It does. But we're going to have lurkers and Vipers, Tasteless. What do you think about that?
My word.
How many Vipers does he actually have right now?
I'm not sure. I see 3 lurkers. No, actually, sorry, 5 lurkers over there. Now, the
I did not ask you how many lurkers he has.
I'm like, but my favorite color is red. You're like, Tasteless. Okay, he can leapfrog these tanks pretty well. I don't know if he should be moving into these lurkers. But again, if he just continues to leapfrog the tanks here, oh my god, hemorrhaging Banelings.
Trying to get his Vipers ready. It looks like he has a couple of them.
If he can harpoon those tanks, that would be ideal.
I really want to see the battle on the other side. I do not care about these
No,
links.
keep it on these Marauders. I want to make sure that they actually all die.
I think they're going to win.
Oh my god, that's why we keep it there. Oh, but see, there's so many twists over here.
Oh, they did end up
falling. But then there's an army over here.
Oh, there's another army.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, something is happening.
Meanwhile.
Okay, the hatchery is very, very low. Okay, takes out those siege tanks. But can you take out these siege tanks?
Yeah, he can. Well, Zerg is losing bases. Terran's really continuing to squeeze him pretty hard. It seems like since that big fight with the tanks, Terran's now on top in this game.
Yeah, and he is, I mean, he's hurting the fringes quite a bit, and INnoVation is continuing to expand behind this, which is really great. But the one thing that should be mentioned is that, you know, Viper Lurker specifically is a good comeback composition.
It's very true.
Like, you can get very cost efficient with it at times.
We're no longer using Ling Muta Bane, which you have to sacrifice value in order to get value.
Yeah.
You have to get, like, you know, the Banelings, even if they kill off the ideal clump of Marines, they're gone.
Yeah.
Lurkers, if handled correctly, can just murder huge swaths of units.
A lot of times with Banes, it's correct to trade inefficiently even.
Yeah.
Whereas with Lurkers, it's like, no, we gotta gain something here.
Yeah. Well, the goal with Lurkers is not really to trade at all. Oh my God!
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna save that hatchery.
Yeah.
Maybe.
They burrow so fast.
Look how annoying that is.
Yeah. He should really go for that hatchery. He can actually kill that hatchery if he's not up. Never mind.
There we go. We got it.
Little Stegosaurus back attack, man.
Stegosaurus back attack.
That's what the lurker spines look like.
Whoa. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You think lurkers have a brain in their butt, too?
Absolutely, they have a brain in their butt.
Excellent. They're very much a Stegosaurus then, aren't they?
Okay, there is a possible push coming here at the center right. Zerg is running out of space. We're actually, at this point in time, out of expansions. It might seem a little bit odd to say since we're only about 17 minutes into this game, but unlike our some of our other maps, we don't have a bunch of bases in the middle. So this game will come screeching to a halt eventually here.
Yeah. Ghosts being added in, so yeah, it's like we're getting into that like ultimate late game type of thing. Oh my god, Tastes. Oh my god.
Dude!
Oh! Look at that! He gets the ghost as well. And look at that.
That play might actually allow Solar to win this game. That was so much damage.
Repositions the siege tank there so it can keep firing.
I think Solar's got a brain in his butt too, man.
He definitely does.
That's crazy. This is so much damage. Look at that. Set the wall up. Yeah, right, dude. You've seen this zombie movie before.
Yeah, this is not looking so hot.
He could actually get on top of production.
Can he?
No. No, he can't.
And I'm like, okay, and I'm sorry, Artos.
I thought I discovered I had a superpower that I was controlling what happened in the game. I thought that like whatever I say would come true, and it's like, no.
It's so funny. He actually yoinked that into that position and it continued to deal damage. Okay, the lurkers, they're having a time down here in the natural.
If he can just dive on a few of these bases, this Terran is not going to have much left. Uh-oh, you fool. You're going down the ramp.
All right, lurkers coming back up.
Oh, no. Imagine being that Marine. He's like, oh, my God, not like this.
He took one for the team.
Yeah,
that was meant to be something else. All right.
Damn, Solar.
INnoVation's death throws right here.
Solar. Say something witty. Something, something, solar panels. GG. Solar.
That's the type of green innovation we need.
Yeah.
All right. Solar takes that one down. I mean, it was a good comeback from INnoVation in a lot of ways. It felt like Solar was in control for quite a bit. But the massive siege tanks came out and really started bludgeoning him. Then INnoVation was splitting across the map very well. But INnoVation getting caught by those hold position lurkers tasteless. That was painful.
It was all about the hold position lurkers.
Yeah, and he just crumpled after that.
I don't know if crumpled's the right word. It's like his head exploded. Am I doing it right?
Well, crumple and explode are the same thing in different directions.
It was like he
right?
exploded and a little mini Solars popped out and ran around.
Like broodlings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to go to Lightshade for Game 3. INnoVation, come back! Maybe not. Maybe Solar just crushes it. I don't know. Let's go into our game now, guys.
Game start. KaiZ Gaming, INnoVation.
Hope this isn't a 3-0.
Yeah.
If it is,
KaiZ Gaming, Solar.
I'm going to ask for my money back.
Ask for
They're
your
like,
money back.
okay,
You're
then we
being
won't
paid
pay
right
you.
now.
And I'm like, oh my God. I didn't know.
Quick
Okay,
drone
hatch
coming out of
expand.
Scout. Maybe expecting a proxy or something. Yeah, really looking for proxy raxes. Not
It's
today.
INnoVation. He's not going to do that.
No.
It's not TY or Maru. Okay. So the pool's coming down now. Let's see what game we're going to have here. Let's remember that INnoVation, although he actually looked like he was winning through a decent amount of the mid-game there, he did do this Hellbat Banshee attack, which we just don't see work. I mean, if you guys have
just
been
never
following
works.
this show and our casting, you'll notice that maybe it's us. Maybe we're the reason why it doesn't work, because people are doing it.
Yeah, people are doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just say what I see, Tasteless, and I see that build fail every time.
Yeah, it never works.
It just
Even
does
when we
not.
haven't condemned it, I've watched it come and I'm like, oh, this isn't going to work.
Here's what I think. Here's my actual honest stab at it.
Yes.
Most practice games are played on the ladder. When people are laddering, they're not actually playing at 100%. This is a fact. Just so people are aware of this, this is like a well-known thing that you cannot practice at the same level that you play tournaments at. You just can't keep that type of concentration up.
Yeah.
There's something additional that goes into it. So I think that the build's win rate on ladder exists, and it's a build that feels stronger than it is because you're on ladder and people are not playing at 100%.
Yeah.
I've seen that before, and I think that's a reasonable idea of why people still seem to think it's good, because they die to it on ladder or they win with it on ladder. They're like, nah, it's still good, man. It works. It works. But it's like when you're like, I mean, this is the most focused that you're going to be. You're in the studio playing these games. Like, you are at 100%.
Yeah.
That is it. You are dialed in, you know?
Yeah.
So you're not going to miss a thing. It's like this is going to be your absolute best games. And your best games, you do not fall to the Hellbat rush.
Well, it also seems like the only way you would win with it is if you hid the fact that you went Hellions in mass enough.
Well,
and you the army, you know what I mean? It's
that
just,
too, but
it's like a gotcha move.
yeah, but it's just like
I don't
it's so hard to actually get all the pieces to line up and work when someone's playing their best.
So let's see what he does this time around. Solar, though, looking fierce. He was great with the Ling Muta Bane, but man, once he switched into lurkers, I feel like we don't actually see hold position lurkers as much as we should.
I see Armani try it a lot.
Yeah.
He was trying it before lurkers were even good.
Yeah. It seems like the more time passes, the more we're going to have it.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't, even when people discovered it in Brood War, because in Brood War it was actually like a weird bug.
It was
There
broken
was actually,
as hell when it came out.
When it came out, it was like, obviously there was not any real patches in Brood War, but if there was ever something that changed the game forever, that was it. Like, people were freaking out about it, too. They're like, this is game breaking, and then people just realized, okay, you got to learn how to play with it.
Yeah. Now you have to know things like exactly when lurkers can be
Yeah,
out.
if lurkers
and
are
how
out-
far they could have walked by now.
You cannot move without detection. General rule. But, lurkers, they've had different roles in StarCraft, and obviously they were introduced very late into the game compared to other units.
Well, another thing that's like hold position lurker, but even more kind of obvious in a lot of ways, I would say is burrowed banelings, right? We talked about that literally day one of StarCraft 2. We were talking about burrowed baneling landmines.
Yeah.
And, like, some people tried it, like Moon tried it and it didn't quite work. And then, like, eventually it started to catch on, but we still don't see it that often. Like, since Leenock went to the military, it went down 90%. You know? Like,
yeah, that's true. He was like, the one guy.
We definitely see a few of the other Zergs do it some, but it feels like it's still underutilized.
Yeah, there's no real reason why it shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Solar absolutely won that game by just having a landslide amount of damage that just completely crushed that army. And then from there, it was like he just went right for the jugular. Went right in there, destroyed the natural, forked his army out in different directions. And, yeah, I mean, crushed.
Uh-oh. All right, a couple of Cloak Banshees here. They're actually doing better without the Hellbats.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see if there were Hellbats right there with that fight.
He would have lost a Banshee already.
The Banshees would be on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How funny is
Zerg
that?
would already be on a 4th base. Figure that out, okay? Okay. Queens are moving out now. Yeah, these Banshees didn't do much. Usually you want to at least get some drone pickoffs here.
Yeah, good defense. Baneling Speed on the way. Spire on the way.
Okay, there's going to be some targeting here at this bottom left hatch. No, there's not. You have my permission to mute the cast now.
They're like, already did tasteless. Well, then how did you hear him?
Yeah, busted. I'm like, these Banshees will not attack these drones and keep going north. And then
they're just getting a scout off?
take damage from these Queens.
Oh, just barely.
Kidding me.
Oh my god.
These Queens are hard, man.
Solar. How exacting does he need to be?
Yeah.
God. Such a perfectionist.
That's his OCD right there. So this Banshee did... What? Oh, it canceled. Okay. I'm like, this hatchery self-destructed?
The Banshee's got it.
Yeah. Terran's going to push up. It does keep Zerg on a 4th base, but I think Zerg can just seesaw the expansion over to the other side of the map.
I like that he burrows a mine there. Catch the next drone that comes down. Getting drilling claws this game. All right. Excellent.
This is a good move here with the Widow Mine, because if there's a very chaotic game, you can send a drone down there, it dies, you just don't know where the drone went. This happens to everybody in a game where it's hard to keep track of stuff, and you think, okay, so I don't know, I must have not done it. Yeah, totally. Send another drone.
All right, Hellbat's being morphed.
What is it? What is the tile set for this map? Pavement? Like,
pavement?
Yeah. It's like, well, they're fighting over concrete.
Is that not snow?
Is it supposed to be snow? I think it's pavement.
No,
it's not snow.
Pavement.
There's no snow on the trees.
That's true. There is no
Busted.
snow on the trees.
Yeah, it's pavement.
Damn, is it?
This map takes place on somebody's driveway.
It's like gravelly cement.
Yeah. Like you could play basketball.
Yeah, there's like
anywhere
green
on this
grass
map.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Like what? But then there's like rocks that you find
it's
at the
in
river
LA,
around the minerals.
Yeah.
Those are like the rocks that skip across the water if you know how to do that.
Uh-oh.
What is this tile set?
Yeah, I've just been looking at it, trying to figure this out. A little bit of vegetation, but it can't be a snow map. And it doesn't seem like it'd be a desert map with these trees and this green grass. It's like, oh, this part plants can't grow, but over here there's a forest. It's like, all right.
Well, that is how things work, Tastes, though. Jesus.
Like, whatever, man. Like, I'm like, no, the way I see it, it's like planets are like, well, this is an ice planet, that's a desert planet. I'm like, really? The whole planet is just a desert? Like,
sometimes.
Our planet's the everything planet, though.
That's true, yes.
That's why humans live there, right? Another Widow Mine drop. Now, again, we actually have drilling claws. This was an upgrade that was neglected before.
Picks it all off. Good cleaning up by Solar. INnoVation going to remove a lot of creep here. That's a backup, though. Can't quite fight that. Ooh, nice mine connection.
Yeah. Terran, by the way, has taken the very, very upper right. I don't know if Zerg's going to check there just yet. If I was Zerg, I'd expect the Terran to take the bottom center next, so we'll see. It might go unnoticed.
Yeah, if he takes the bottom center, maybe he tries to stage his pushes off of there, but he has to go uphill against creep. Maybe if he can clear some of that right now. Doesn't quite get that connection. Queen's waiting for a hit there.
Good defense, though, driving that out. Terran's going to push through here with another army. I'm not sure if it's going to be big enough, though. Seems like Zerg is rapidly heading north to try to deal with this. Some of the queens neglected. They are picked off.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of action everywhere right now. Looks like INnoVation actually going to start to push in. Nice micro back. Does have that mine. Doesn't quite get the connection.
Yeah, that's the INnoVation micro you were talking about. Really good spreading there. If you can just make sure those banelings, maybe one Marine dies per baneling, that's the perfect situation.
Yeah, yeah.
You lose 5 or 6 to a bane, that happens a couple times, you're going to lose the game. INnoVation now smashing this base. Now, again, I want to point out, he's basically close to winning this game, but if Zerg techs out of this, what does that look like? That's the question I want to ask, because this happened last game.
Well, he's going to Ultra. And, I mean, that definitely will add a lot of muscle to his army. Ooh, big mine hit right there. But it's just, he hasn't really gotten the connections that he needs. He's not able to stay aggressive at all. Looks like he will end up cleaning that up, but oh man, if he loses his hatch, that's it.
GG INnoVation coming back with the win.
All right.
INnoVation.
His name on the board.
Okay, it worked. Some good adjustments, getting the drilling claws. I think
it worked. What worked?
It worked. The whole strategy of winning the game.
Yeah. It was the same thing, but without the Hellbats.
He slapped the chicken 2,300 or 23,000
times.
23,000 times.
Yeah.
The chicken is cooked.
Well, see if the chicken can fight back now, Tasis.
Yeah, this chicken's alive.
Because the chicken
though.
is up 2-1.
This chicken's alive. It's got boxing gloves. It's that Family Guy chicken, okay?
Oh my God.
Pillars of Gold for map 4.
Okay.
INnoVation again looking stronger. I'm not sure if Solar really did anything wrong that I noticed. It just seemed like it was a back and forth game. INnoVation basically just came out on top of fights. That's what an INnoVation win looks like, though.
Yeah. Slowly but surely he takes it down.
Okay. Game 4 has loaded up. Let's continue our fight with INnoVation and Solar.
Game starts. KaiZ Gaming, INnoVation. KaiZ Gaming, Solar.
Well, Pillars of Gold. One of those split maps where you don't really have any bases in the center.
Yeah, it's usually each base basically is given to a side. There's no expansion ambiguity of like, oh, well, this could go either way. Maybe this will be the game where if every expansion's used up, they'll have to fight over this one. But we might have that here too. Less likely, but I mean,
yeah, it's a little bit.
There's a lot of variables at play in RTS.
Well, interested to see the tech choice actually this time of Solar rather than INnoVation.
Okay.
Because he's mixed it up a little bit. Like he seems to be liking Lingbane Muta, but he did have that Hydra game mixed in. And maybe because it's like the travel distance is a little bit longer here to some of those bases, maybe he's going to want to favor one over the other, right? Like, does he want the Mutas for the counterattacks, or does he want like the stability of the Hydras? Personally, I don't really like Lingbane Hydra that much right now, but
yeah, well, he was also the guy that kind of made us see a lot of Lingbane Hydra, right? I mean,
oh yeah, he invented it.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. I think he did he was actually the guy that pioneered it.
Yeah, yeah.
Or at least he's the person that
days,
debuted it a lot. Yeah.
Solar actually invented like more things for Zerg than I think any other active player maybe.
He's always done, especially with mid-game tech stuff, his own thing.
Yeah.
You always want to watch out for those guys. I mean, people, a lot of times people, the person that's doing the weird thing in the game is kind of the butt of a lot of jokes. Like, oh, is he going to do that weird, stupid thing that doesn't work? And everybody goes, ah.
Yeah.
But actually, then they get really good at it, and they're the only people that do it, and nobody knows how to play against it.
Yeah, he was like the Lingbane Hydra guy, and he was one of the early lurker users against Terran. He was one of the only guys that was actually used them before they were good. He was actually a Stormhost Nidus guy along with ByuN before everyone else. Yeah, he's definitely a trendsetter. Although we're not seeing anything super new out of him lately, I would say.
Yeah, I think the game's in a little bit of a different spot, though. man, there's always iterations of the game coming out, but it seems like right now he's more interested in, like a lot of the players, being very strong in the mid to mid-late game and trying to cement the lead there and close it out. I was going to say we haven't had, from any of our Zergs, any real crazy rushes. We had Dark do the all-in, but I think that was more of a response to what Protoss is doing. He thought, he looked at that, he said, oh, yeah. I think actually I can punish you with this. So, again, it's a slower early game, especially TVZ when players play like this. We first want to see what tech Terran's really going to do. We've seen, for instance, the Hellbat drop, which Artosis and I have promptly condemned. But there's other stuff you can do. INnoVation, I think, at least for me, and I know I've casted a lot of his games, but when I think of INnoVation's games, I always think of him roaming with the 2 medevacs and the Marines there, picking up and basically doing the cycling of those units.
Yeah.
And then incorporating more units and more stuff for the push, and kind of leading into eventually a game where he's just getting further and further ahead and he closes it out.
Yeah. Use those 2 medevacs, clear some creep, max out with 2-2, go kill the Zerg.
Exactly.
And of course, always there's that push on the 4th in between them.
Okay. Reaper's finally picked off. And now...
yeah, Layer and Evo coming up. Single Evo, so probably getting that Carapace upgrade. Also, the Baneling Nest coming. It looks a lot like just what Solar has been doing. Cloak here, lots of Hellions. I haven't seen an armory yet, though.
Yeah, no armory yet.
Yeah, the INnoVation leaving himself room to win this game.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind that this build, I think on the surface, from the Zerg's perspective, looks actually like the Hellbat game. Just the attack hasn't come yet.
Yeah, it looks,
so
very much.
It basically, as far as unit behavior goes, it looks just like that for Terran. But, and maybe, I don't know, could he make Zerg overmake Queens or something, over-defend, and INnoVation takes the lead there?
Did you say, excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Did you say, overmake Queens?
I'm sorry, I did say that.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to Mr. Che about it, but guys,
You're
I'm
on
basically
caster probation.
I'm opening up applications for people that know that you can't really overmake Queens. Yeah.
He's like, damn, I have too many Queens. Now,
10 Queens, what will I do with this?
I'll just cover the map and creep and
then
kill
it's
all
like
the units.
2 minutes later SpongeBob meme and the creep is at INnoVation's natural.
Here come those Banshees. Let's see if they actually do any real damage here. I think the answer is no.
They're just for show.
Yep. They're like the flag bearers.
Hey.
Can the Queens get down here?
He's going to force a cancel on
that
one.
Yeah, this is actually great.
There you go. There's your damage.
Even kills the drone. Beautifully done. He'll make another hatchery over there. But honestly, it's hard to hurt each other or slow each other down early on in a game like this. So that move is actually a pretty big deal. Even though it seems like it's just a few seconds taken off the clock and the fastest RTS game ever made, that's a pretty big deal.
It is. Dealing some damage to this Queen. Doesn't quite get it.
Damn, Solar is so good with his Lings. That was the most insane. He, like, took no damage. In fact, I think he gained Queens and Lings because of that. His Hive is suddenly finished now. That's how ahead he is from that.
It's almost as if those were Hellbats.
Yes.
The way they died so quickly.
Seriously, though, that was handled so perfectly.
Yeah, that was awesome. Great surround.
Big loss, by the way, because those Hellions were supposed to be pairing with these 2 medevacs that are moving out now full of Marines.
Yeah, I think he probably would have wanted to bring them around for hitting the 4th. As is, this 4th is, there's no way it's going down, but let's see what he can do. What he can pick off. Ooh. By the way, we do have the Hydralisk gen that just finished up. So it's going to be Lingbane Hydra here for Solar.
Yep.
Which, yeah, Pillars of Gold, I'm not too surprised to see that. I think that that's fine here.
Yeah, this is a unit comp where you really want to try to steamroll what they have. Like, you have to take a fight, have an explosive amount of damage, and then carry that to the win.
Yeah, just kind of the separation in the center of the map, I think, is good for this. as well as it plays into Lurker Viper very well.
Yeah, I guess Terran also can't counterattack as easily. Let's say you don't kill them.
Yeah, totally.
You can't counter punch as well.
It's hard to punch through the Lingbane Hydra army. Like, you kind of have to go into lots of siege tanks. Here we actually see him getting mines and drilling claws.
Is this attack going to happen, though, before that he can muster enough that it's a viable defense? I wonder.
I mean, I don't think so. Look at where 2-2 is right now. You can't do a full attack as INnoVation until 2-2's done. Right? Like, when 2-2 finishes, he'll be at, like, you know, 180 to 200 supply. I think that you just kind of... I don't see any sort of kill timing, especially since he's going mines. Right? If you're making nothing but siege tanks, maybe you hit that sharp timing, but... Yeah, as is, it's just like whittle what you can.
I think the target for the attack is probably going to be this space right here. Oh, the Banshees are back.
Well, they're just flying through.
Yeah. Looks like they might get caught coming down over here on the right. It'll be nice if the Zerg can actually kill these off, just because it's just something you have to have in the back of your mind as a possible threat. And you can see they already drew the screen away. Now these Widow Mines are going to kill a lot of drones.
Yeah, that was really good. 12 kills.
12 kills. Nicely done. And now the push comes in here. Again, INnoVation able to volley certain actions on the map and keep Solar's screen in the wrong place at the wrong time. I think he just killed almost every baneling there. Good kiting now. He's going to go for the main. I think so.
That's a big lift up.
Zerg's not reacting, though. He's not moving his army.
Well, he sees it now.
I think it might be too late, though.
He should bring the Banshees.
That's right. The Banshees start to target down the banelings, and he wins the game.
Well, here come the Lings up. It's a little bit slow, though.
Really annoying to deal with.
Actually, a huge amount of damage being dealt by INnoVation.
I want to point out, with the full killed off and the push continuing, INnoVation might just win this game.
Yeah?
You actually need more Lings to make Banes. So
it's really starting to go his way.
Yeah, I think actually he just won the game.
Yeah,
this is INnoVation is back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every Ling that's gone, it's not a Bane, you know? Those are the last Banes he could probably make. Yep, that's going to be GG, man. INnoVation really pulling it together in this game.
Yeah, he looked just beautiful this game, really.
Monstrous.
He was doing exactly that type of style that you were talking about as well. Where he's just kind of like, here's the two medevacs flying around, doing the damage, and eventually he just overwhelms.
He's just better at doing this than almost every other player in the world, and that's how he wins Game 4.
Yeah, he did it beautifully as well with the mines, because a lot of people do prefer to go into siege tanks against the Hydra play. But he kept so much pressure on the mines, actually worked out very well.
And again, I was mentioning the spawning pool killed off. I know it might sound silly to joke about that tech building being killed, like, oh no, but actually that's everything. You need to keep making Lings to hold off the fight.
Yeah, they make Banes.
Yeah, they make Banes, and the rest of the Lings take damage so the Banes can do the damage. So I think INnoVation, in the course of about a minute, made a few key decisions that just completely eradicated Solar. And now we're going on to Game 5, Romanticide.
Right.
What is Romanticide? Is that like you just
kill someone out of love,
kill someone out of love? Is it?
I think so. That's how you're going, Tasteless.
That's how I'm going.
Yeah.
Okay, they've joined the lobby. Our game is now loading up. This is a map with a lot more possible shared expansions in the middle, but I don't know that we're going to go into endgame here. Seems like it's been pretty action-packed between these two so far.
Game starts. KaiZ Gaming, INnoVation. KaiZ Gaming, Solar.
Tasteless.
Already.
We have a Game 5.
Good.
That is good.
I was worried this was going to be a 3-0 with Solar just smashing.
Yeah.
But I think INnoVation's made, I don't know if it's decision-wise with builds or just his mechanical prowess, but he's come back.
Yeah.
He's looking very strong. And honestly, And I feel like I don't normally say this with other players. A lot of times my critique is like, oh, he does this too much, so it's sort of predictable, or like, I wish he would try this instead of that.
Yeah.
With INnoVation, I'm like, just keep doing that thing that you always do.
Yeah.
A win is a win is a win. Just do that. Carry the game the way that you normally tend to become a champion. I mean,
yeah, his play is really different, actually, because I think that might confuse people what you're saying, because we actually talk a little bit about stats with this where he doesn't mix it up enough.
Right.
Right, that he does what you just said you want to see INnoVation do, but it's like, it's actually two very different styles. INnoVation's not reactive. INnoVation is, like, he is keeping pressure on via great macro, which will bring you into late game. So you might look at him in stats similarly, but they're actually very, very different players. Like, like everyone equates, I think, later game with macro, and that's not really the case. A lot of times those things do go hand in hand. If you want to get your macro going, you want to get into the later portions of the game. So we don't see INnoVation like do a lot of early all-ins, right? Like, because he does get stronger in the mid game and the late game. But yeah, it's very different from someone like Stats, who's a defensive, reactive macro player.
Yeah, well, also, I mean, you know, the thing with INnoVation is, like, as the game starts, you know INnoVation's coming for you. I know this might sound silly, but it's completely true. Like, he is getting ready to attack and kill you. It might be 10, 12 minutes, but it is absolutely coming. And every little thing that he does in that game is just part of that attack. That he's going to try to close it out. That's why Solar was so impressive in games 1 and 2, is he just slammed INnoVation twice.
Yeah, he did. Oh, he's looking really good. INnoVation, by the way, just picked off the first creep tumor. That's a really nice pick. Everything looking pretty normal. That third command, of course, for INnoVation going down before the starport. Just kind of standard INnoVation.
Okay. Now, we've talked a lot about INnoVation, how he approaches this, but let's think about Solar's perspective here, because I'm not actually sure what he's doing wrong, so to speak.
Felt like he got a bit outplayed that last game.
Is it just
it's
get
like
good? Is it the Dark Souls thing? You just got to get good against INnoVation?
In a way. In a way. Like, it's not like we saw him lose some overwhelming amount of drones or something like that. It didn't seem like there was huge micro errors or anything. You know, this is something INnoVation can do. He can just kind of out-macro you and kill you sometimes, right? Solar is not the best macro Zerg in the world. He is not Sue. He doesn't just have more units than everybody. Whereas that is something that you can say about INnoVation sometimes, where you're like, yeah, no, he had a lot, man, and he was everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and people will know what you mean. That's not. Yeah. So Solar needs to do things like make good strategic choices and tactical moves. That's where he wins games, is through his strategy choice and the tactics that he chooses to employ. Which is fine. There's no like right or wrong way to play StarCraft. Well, there's
definitely
varying
ways,
degrees of wrong.
There's definitely
take that back.
Blasphemous ways to play StarCraft. But
everything has its place in tournaments for sure. But
by the way, keeping that Banshee out of sight. But then again, how helpful is that to not see the Banshee? You like see Cloak come in, you're like, all right, there's a good Banshee making.
People fake it though, right?
True. I guess there's no reason.
He's gone for it like every game, right?
Yeah.
So he wants it anyways.
So this Banshee's going to come out with the second Banshee.
Yeah, basically the same stuff from these guys. Baneling Nest coming up at the same time. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a repeat.
And we're going to watch and see how much damage can be done here, but it probably will be pretty minimal.
Yeah, I think
TVZ especially is pretty mapped out. I mean, anything too dramatic tends to backfire.
Do you think it's going to be Hydra play, or is it going to be Muta play here?
I think we're going to see Muta play.
I do too.
I don't think you can go Hydra. I think on this map also there's too many places to take.
Hydras are not going to be as good here as Pillars.
And I think part of the reason why Solar might have lost is, even though that might be the right way to do it, I think INnoVation is better against Hydra play.
I think Hydra play is straight up weaker than Muta play.
Well, also the thing is, like, Hydra play isn't as punishing in skirmishes.
Yeah.
Like,
it's less swingy.
Muta,
you can tell what's going to happen much easier against Hydras.
If you look at Ling, Muta, Baneling, if you win the fight, you win the fight. Like,
yeah, you
the
smash.
Banes obliterate the Marines. If they try to pick up the Mutas, kill the medevac, and it completely shuts you out of your momentum. And I think one of the things that Solar's done against INnoVation is he's leveraged that. He knows INnoVation's aggressive, so if he just sets up and just kills that attack, suddenly there is no momentum for INnoVation. He can't reinforce. If he continues to be aggressive, which is what's happened in some of the other games, he loses everything, and then Zerg can go back across the map and start picking off bases. So I think, yeah, it's going to be Ling Bane. It looks like that already just from the tech and the units we see on screen here.
Yeah, the Spire is sitting right there.
And so now I wonder, okay, well, how will INnoVation handle a game like this? Because even though he's looking really strong, you know, an hour before this, he was getting smashed by Solar.
By the way, I really like a move Solar just did. He killed the rocks down to like 1 hit and then stopped.
Yeah.
So now that might surprise INnoVation. See, that's one of those tactical things that we were talking about, where these are the types of things Solar needs to do if you want to win against INnoVation. Yeah, you're not going to outmacro him. Okay, how about he sets up a push that he thinks is safe because he didn't realize the rocks are almost dead. Then you instantly flow out.
Yeah, so let me expand on what you're saying.
Well, I guess
here.
that doesn't happen here, but
still, I just want to point out that idea was really, really cool. If you didn't realize what was going on, you might have more units rallied up. Your push is really supposed to be in about 15 seconds from then. And then you just come in there, pop up in the rocks, and they just dive on you.
Yeah.
I think what you said was really smart. It's not what he's going to do. Let's cast that game instead. So Terrence moving up here in the top. And now we need to see, is Solar ready? It seems like there was nothing that could have spotted this attack here. In fact, there's going to be the drone that's going to be killed off here. A scan. Is Solar ready? This is the big question. We've got a lot of Banes coming. We've got drones being evacuated. I think the hatchery's almost destroyed. Here we go!
His creep spread is not that fantastic, honestly.
Ooh, the tank placement is pretty disgusting, man.
Yeah, he's losing this hatch. I think you just have to give it up.
Yeah, an uncomfortable thing to sacrifice, but I think it's a must. Terran expanding right in the center. Pretty brazen move. A Banshee down here to kill the drone that's going to be expanding. It's going to get it, right?
No.
One. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
The hatchery, like, ate the missile.
It disappeared.
Yeah. Probably worth it to have that over just a little bit. But, of course, Terran sees what's happening. You have plenty of time to respond. The Banshee out of the picture now. Terran pokes in to confirm there is no hatch here. Because right now, Terran's just tightening the noose on the Zerg. You just want to make sure Zerg is not up in bases. If you're even in bases, CVT, the Zerg is behind.
Yeah, and INnoVation has to be feeling good. I mean, killing the 4th base and getting your own 4th up, this is a great spot for him.
INnoVation's close to closing this if he makes all the right decisions from here on out.
I think that at this point for Solar, he needs counter harassment / attacks, and he needs good Baneling connections. Those are the two things that can bring him right back into it.
Okay, so the tanks are going to unsiege now. I think this is a very smart time to try to escape. If Zerg counterattacks and doesn't do anything, Terran can win that way too.
INnoVation is really well defended here. He's got the sensor tower, he's got walls everywhere, planetary on his easiest to hit command center. Tank sieged as well, so you can't just run Banes into it or something.
Right.
It's looking very, very good for INnoVation. What a comeback if he ends up winning here.
Well, this is the best he's looked all night.
It's the best he's looked in a while, in my opinion.
And watch, he can immediately pick up. It's a small army. Everything is able to escape with the medevacs if it must. Wow, doesn't even pick up. Zerg is expanding not just at bottom center, but also in the upper center. Both sides are maxed out now. Terran started 3-3. Although maybe that'll be interrupted with these mutas.
Oh, if he gets +3 attack, that's pretty huge.
Yeah. But Terran's pushing now.
Yeah, he does cancel the +3. That's huge.
There's going to be an opportunity for later on in this game because of that. But right now, Terran's just as strong as it was a second ago. The Hellbats there in the front to try to soak. Tanks in the back here.
It's not that many tanks. He can actually overwhelm that if he wants to. But
there's another army that's going to meet up with this. It's moving into the center now.
Oh, God. He lost 10 meters during that.
Oh.
Not
there's only 7 Mutalisks over here. A lucky number.
No, not so lucky this game.
It's actually
17 would be a lot luckier.
Okay, So Terran's not making everything move together. Instead, he's going to attack in over here and try to take a push. Keep in mind, with Muta's not here, the Marines can actually fight the ground units in a much more measured way. And this is going to take out the bottom center, and I think the expansion above it, which is going to leave Zerg on 3 bases to Terran soon to be 5. And that might be all you need to do.
Yeah, that's been the name of this entire game so far.
This is one of the best controlled TVZs we've seen in a long time.
INnoVation really showing some dominance.
Yeah, and this is how INnoVation wins his games. This looks exactly like an INnoVation win.
And look how he turns around, kills those bases. You know what?
Yeah.
Go back, defend countering, because that's the only thing you can do.
Yeah. Keep my other sources of income safe. Let Zerg expand again, kill that, probably close the game out if the Zerg even stays in the game for that long. And if INnoVation wins this, that's a pretty insane comeback. He was down the first 2 games only to have the... or Solar was down the... what am I talking about? Solar won the first 2 games only to be smashed in the next 3. Excuse me.
You got it, Tasus.
I can do this, guys.
Just
I can do this.
Just like INnoVation, you came back from a great deficit.
In that little casting segment there. Okay, so the Banes are going to come forward. Again, there's not enough weak targets, I think. Even though some of these Banes are connecting pretty well, it's not going to do it. GG. INnoVation takes that, and he's our winner.
Yeah, very nice comeback. Actually, I thought coming in that Solar might be able to take. He's been looking really good lately. I think he did put out some really high-quality games. INnoVation, though, just pulling it all together there at the end. Too strong.
Crazy to think that Solar looked untouchable after game 1 and 2, and now it seems so obvious that INnoVation was going to win all along.
So
obvious.
What a fool I was.
We're going to go to that interview now with INnoVation, see how he's feeling. He has managed to move on to the next phase of the Super Tournament.
And INnoVation of Kaiji Gaming is able to pull off a reverse sweep against Solar, and he secures the round of 8 spot in GSL SuperTournament Season 1. Congratulations, INnoVation. Wow, what tenacity, INnoVation. How do you feel?
사실 2대0으로 지고 있을 때
Well, when I was losing 2-0,
그냥 졌다라고
I thought I just
생각하고
lost
3세트
the whole series.
투베럭 한번 때리고
And my third set, I just went for the 2 barracks.
그래도 그냥 실력으로 끝까지 해보자 했던
But
게
then, you know, I
승리였던
kind
것
of maintain my composure and try to go to the last set of the series.
역전의 발판은 마이오닉이었죠.
Well, INnoVation, I think the Bionic army was definitely the key to your comeback in this series. So what made you go for the
그런 건
strategy?
아닌데요. 그냥 좀 마인의 변수가 많아가지고.
Well, the Widow Mines has a lot of variables,
많이 만들고
and you know, Widow Mines make many variables,
할것 같아가지고
and it helps me in many ways, and that's why I went for it, and I think it worked out well today.
끝났을 땐 사실 굉장히 절망하셨다고 하셨어요.
After second set finished with all the stop lurkers, you said that you were very much in despair. So what was that about?
질 수가 없다라고 생각하고
Well, that game I felt like that was a must-win for me.
무너지면서
But then I got stomped by the stop lurkers.
스탑러커 금지를 왜 뭔가 시켜야 되지 않나?
And then I feel like stop lurkers have to be banned from competitive play.
사기인 것 같다.
You think it's Topi? Okay.
오늘 경기는 그러면 좀 예고로 하고 앞으로 더 보도록 하고요. 작년 슈퍼 토너먼트 성적에 대해서도 좀 얘기해 볼게요.
Talk about
작년
last
슈퍼
year's
성적은
SuperTournament
전부
results.
8강이었습니다.
Last year's SuperTournament results were all round of 8 for you.
이 선수가 굉장히 기세가 좋거든요. 좀 어떤 경기 예상하시나요?
So you'll be playing against Trap. So what do you think about that matchup?
토스전을 많은 테란들이 다 힘들어하더라고요.
I mean, a lot of the Terran players struggle with the TVP matchup.
토스전이 너무 어려운 것 같은데.
I think the Protoss is really hard to
거기다
defeat.
성우는 또 토스 중에서
And Trap is one of the best right now in that race.
뭔가 못 이길 것 같긴 해요.
So I think it's gonna be really hard to beat him. Probably unbeatable.
종족전도 있으세요?
태태전이 제일 나은 것 같아요.
I really hope for the TVT in the future.
자, 마지막으로 올해도
So
새롭게
before you go,
시작을
INnoVation,
했으니까요.
this is the new
이신영
year,
선수
new
정말
start.
많이 기다렸거든요.
And I'm sure the fans are
팬분들께
rejoiced to see you on
마지막 한마디까지
stage. So
해주시죠.
anything you want to say to your fans?
일단
Well, first of all,
올해가 시작하긴 했는데 뭔가
this year has just kicked off.
느낌은 이제 올해를 마무리하는 시즌 마무리하는 느낌이어가지고.
And this season just feels like I'm just wrapping up the season.
까지 잘 마무리.
I'm gonna try to try my best until the World Championship.
내년에도 할 수 있으면 더 잘 하겠습니다.
And next year I'll try to do better too.
자, 앞으로 이신영 선수의 경기
And
활약
we will look
계속
forward to your
기대해보도록
plays
하겠습니다.
innovation in
다시
the
한번
future.
기조 축하드립니다.
Once again, congratulations on advancing. Thank you.
네, 이렇게 두 번.
Okay, congratulations to INnoVation. He is moving on. We're halfway through our games today, though. We still have plenty more StarCraft 2 to do. And I gotta say, it's good to be back, guys. Short break, then we go on to our next best of 5. Do not go away.